Hello, hello. Hello again, everyone. Hello again, everyone. This is Howard Cosell speaking of sports. Good morning, everybody. That's right, on a lovely Friday morning. All right, here's the question for you. Here's the question. Did anybody ever watch The Lone Ranger? Lone Ranger was a cowboy with a mask and a white horse named Silver. Anybody ever watched The Lone Ranger? And if you did, when I watched him in Canada, okay, uh, the show was a little different. What was the Lone Ranger's Indian sidekick name in Canada? And is there any sound, by the way? Somebody let me know if you can hear me. I think you can. What was the Lone Ranger's Indian sidekick name in Canada? Yeah, that's right. Clayton Moore, Chicago guy. Right? That's right. Greg said, no, in Canada. What was welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard. It's now 9 o'clock. That's how you know it. You got sound. Thank you, everybody. Sound is good. In Canada, that's right. In Canada, his Indian sidekick's name was Toronto. In case you didn't know that, it was an interesting glitch to the thing. By the way, Andrea's back, and very appreciative of my efforts to clean up this place. We did. We redecorated a little bit. She was fat. She was just thrilled with all the work that I had done. Redecorating and the whole thing. It wasn't Tonto, Andrea. It was Toronto. All right. All right. So let's get right to it with a lot of stuff going on. And welcome aboard to everyone. All right, I don't even know where to begin. But all right, let's talk about. Let's bring in a little of the basketball. With everybody so excited about basketball, Kawhi Leonard has now won the final MVP with two different teams. How about that one? Can you tell me the only player to win the World Series MVP, for two different teams? Okay? Who was the only player to win the World Series with two different teams? Kawhi Leonard was the MVP. Who was the MVP for two different teams in the World Series? Matching what Kawhi Leonard did last night as the MVP for two different teams in the championships. Okay? So who was it? All right, now, another interesting thing, and I know you mentioned it last night. Nicky Lopez, the first Major League Baseball player, as they played a game in Omaha, as the College World Series, of course, held in Omaha. Lopez, the first Major League Baseball player to hit a home run in the state of Nebraska. And what makes it even more interesting is that he played college ball at the University of Creighton, which is located in Nebraska. And I'm told that he hit the home run in the stadium that he played in. How about that one? All right, good reporting there by Kevin Hastings, Mr. Kansas City. And yes, there was the Kansas City Omaha Kings, and on that team, if I recall, it was Tiny Archibald who was on that ball club. So there you go. Justin Verlander, of course, the guy's amazing. He didn't get a chance, really. That's right, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, was the guy who won the MVP with two different teams. Cha-cha. That's the first time in 2 years Cha-cha got it right first, okay? So pretty good by Cha-cha. Nice going, kid. Anyway, so as we move right along, Verlander on pace to become the first qualified pitcher since 1900 to allow fewer than 7 base runners per 9 innings. He stands at 6.9 base runners per 9 innings. And if that's the case, it'll be unbelievable. 6.9. I mean, nobody has done it. All right, Pedro Martinez was 7.2 in the year 2000. Verlander with a career high 15 strikeouts the other night, all swinging strikeouts. And it's the fifth time that a pitcher has had 15 swinging strikeouts. Max Scherzer did it twice. Carlos Carrasco. And Danny Duffy did it. How about that? So it's all pretty good. I love this stuff, right? Of course, we're going to be talking a lot about trading with the trading deadline at the end of, in July. And Kenny Giles, this really hurts Toronto because any team interested in trying to acquire Kenny Giles has to be a little taken back with the fact that Kenny Giles is now has elbow inflammation, and he hasn't pitched since June 5th. He did pitch back-to-back games, and then that was it. So not too bad. And here's an interesting one: the players with the highest slugging percentage in at-bats ending on 95 or more, 95 miles per hour or more. Nico Goodrum has the highest slugging percentage on pitches 95 miles an hour or more. Hunter Dozier, Nelson Cruz, Daniel Vogelbach, Jorge Polanco, and Pete Alonso. And I keep saying that I'm surprised, I'm shocked that Major League Baseball is still throwing him fast. They think they can throw it by him. And once again, it's about the bonehead pitchers who just say, I know his weakness, but I'm going with my strength. And Alonso has beaten them so far. When the pitchers decide to make the change and say, all right, I'm not going with my strength, I'm going with his weakness, they're going to start throwing him off-speed pitches, and you'll see Pete Alonso, his numbers will drop considerably. You'll see it, okay? I'm telling you, you're going to see it. And Joey Lucchesi was the 49th start by a left-handed Padre this year. 72% of San Diego's games started by a left-handed pitcher, and the only team in the history of the National League to start a higher percentage of left-handed pitchers was in 1880. Are you kidding me? Where did I get that from? But on the good side, Albert Pujols just hit his 200th home run last night as a member of the Angels, and that made them the sixth player in Major League Baseball to hit 200 home runs, 200 or more, for two different teams. Who are the other players who have hit 200 or more home runs for two different teams? There were 5 other players, and you know them all. Okay, one guy goes back, I'll give you the old guy, Jimmy Fox, but everybody else is pretty well documented in the current era of Major League Baseball, outside of Jimmy Fox, okay? 200 or more home runs for two different teams, okay? So there you go. Who's the frog? Who's afraid of clowns? Okay. So there you go. So that was Albert Pujols. All right. Now let's get to the nitty gritty of what happened last night and yesterday in Major League Baseball. This kid, don't forget, Arizona Duplanter underwent an MRI. There was no results yet, and still we don't know who's going to start Sunday. He did attempt to pitch through discomfort Tuesday when he allowed 4 runs on 7 hits, so you have to give him a little pass. Bellinger, 3 for 4. He'd been struggling to get 3 RBIs against the Cubs on Thursday. So Bellinger, who hit his 22nd home run, snapped a season-long 12 games without a home run for Bellinger. And an overall slump, he only batted .222, 10 for 45, and I brought up the possibility of trading, now putting on the block, Cody Bellinger or Josh Bell. Is it too late? They have both begun to show little cracks in their armor. Okay? So we'll see. Is it the right time, or have we passed up the time to trade the two hottest commodities in fantasy baseball, Cody Bellinger and Josh Bell? Chris Bryant, 1 for 2 in a solo home run. He hit it off Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw. It was his first in the month of June. He had a 12-game home run drought, and on the season, he's batting .270 with 14 home runs. And Kyle Schwarber, who has been red hot It was his 15th home run, three of them, okay, off of left-handed pitchers. And last year he only hit one off of a left-handed pitcher. And he hit 196 in the month of May. So he picked it up in June. He's now 15 for 48, hitting at .313 with 5 homers in the month of June. So Kyle Schwarber beginning to heat it up. Julio Urias earned the save. He held the Cubs scoreless over 3 innings, and he relieved Clayton Kershaw and needed 41 pitchers on 3 innings. So that's how they're going to use him to keep his innings down, not as a starter, but he'll be an effector. Look, he's no threat to take over Kenley Jansen's job, but he picked up 3 saves and so far this season, and that's a pretty good indication how much Davey Roberts really trusts this kid and how good this kid could be. And, of course, with Kershaw, he settled down. He improved his record to 6-1. I guess I was wrong about Kershaw, but I still think we overpaid for him. 10 quality starts and 11 appearances. His overall numbers are down just a bit. Okay, used to be unquestioned the most important pitcher in baseball, but he's got a 3.1 ERA and he's got a 1.0 something WHIP. 67 strikeouts, 10 walks. Remains, of course, still in the upper echelon, but he no longer stands alone as Clayton Kershaw. Max Muncy went 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Look, he hit a home run on Tuesday. Actually hit 2 home runs on Tuesday, but he touched up Lester with a 2-run shot in the 4th inning. So he's showing that last season's unexpected 35 home runs, absolutely not a fluke. He's batting about .280, 16 homers. Yeah, you can't do much. That's pretty damn good for this kid. And John Lester, 5 innings, took the loss, gave up 6 runs, 9 hits, and he was cruising along 3 innings before, bingo, it unraveled. A pair of 2-run homers, Bellinger and Muncy, and then he gave up a 2-run shot to David Freese. Holy cow! David Freese's name has been mentioned a lot more so far this year than anybody ever thought. So he's now, look, Lester's given up now 27 earned runs in his last 32 innings. His ERA jumped from 1.1 to 4. Yeah. And now for Colorado, you got Daniel Murphy. Now, he didn't play Wednesday, but he came back in the lineup Thursday in his 3rd straight multi-hit effort. And he's hot. He is hot. He was well below the Mendoza line around May 20-something. And then he had a 3-hit performance, and he's back up to 282. And he's moving. He is really moving, okay? Really moving. Trevor Story, 1 for 5 with a 2-run home run. He has only 3 hits in his last 25 at-bats, including 9 strikeouts during that stretch. So he's in a bit of a mess as a result. If you care to get Trevor Story, now's the time to jump on him. Always look for that, always look for that opening and seize it as best you can. But thank you all for being in the chat room this morning. It's a great pleasure to do this, and I can't tell you how much I love you all. And I won't. The only one I'll tell is Cha-Cha, okay? That's it. All right? So, pretty good. Will Smith, by the way, the Dodger catcher who was up for a little bit, and he goes back to Oklahoma City, and he's hit 2 home runs in a row. So, he'll be back. Will Smith, he could be pretty good, even though Roberts seems committed to Austin Barnes and Russell Martin, and as we say, for the time being. Manny Machado, 3 for 5 with 2 homers. Holy, he had been in a 2 for 18 slump, so he got a 3-hit game, and that was really welcome by San Diego. They can't do anything unless this kid comes along. Unbelievable. John Gray got the win against San Diego, 4 runs, 9 hits. He struck out 10, didn't walk anybody, and he's been off to a rocky start in this game. He allowed 2 runs in the 1st inning. Then he recovered, and this seems to be his pattern. All right, 9 hits by San Diego off of Gray, but he had 20 swinging strikes by John Gray. And look who woke up. Holy cow. 3-hit game by Will Myers. And he was on the bench on Wednesday. And he'd been in